So we're in Pittsburgh. First night I ever meet my hero, 3 o'clock in the morning, we decide to get something to eat. So we find this all-night, open all-night Cambodian food place. There's a couple blocks down in Pittsburgh. So me and my lady friend that was with me, her name's Claudia, and Dan, we're walking down the streets, and it's cool because she witnessed this whole thing, and I'm glad because I don't know, I was losing my mind or something. But Dan, out of nowhere, he turns to me and goes, "Michael, you have the bloodline." And I said, "Well, I've heard something about it. I really don't know what that means." And he goes, "I know, but you will. It's the royal bloodline." I said, "Well, I really don't know what that means, So when we got to the Cambodian food place, I said, "Dan, how did you know about the blood issue?" I said, "Did you see the History Channel show?" And he said, "No, I didn't." At that point, I was really confused, like, well, how did you know, And he said, "Michael, I can tell the minute I meet someone if they're of the bloodline." He said, "That's why I'm here, to meet these people as they awaken. And it's no coincidence you and I are talking right now."
Wow.
Yeah.
Very fascinating, absolutely fascinating stuff. All right, so I'm laying odds that, and you don't have to say yes or no, but I'm laying odds that your birth father is Jimmy Page. That's my guess.
No.
Okay, all right.
You know what? It's going to be coming out in the book anyhow. It's Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton. That was my second guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's play some of your music. I uploaded Testing 1 2 3, which is a killer instrumental track. So let's play this.
Thank you.
And let's come back after the track, and we'll talk about the track, and then we'll talk about what you're going to be doing next on your Magical Mystery Tour. Okay?
Cool.
All right. So this is Michael V. Hill. Testing 1 2 3. So it's testing 1, 2, 3, a absolutely smoking track by our guest, Michael Lee Hill. Killer guitar work on that, man.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah. You know,
I have one to play.
I have a funny Eric Clapton story. I was hanging out one time with Tony Saunders. And Tony Saunders is Merle Saunders' son. Merle, of course, was Jerry Garcia's bass player when Jerry went solo. And Tony told me that Eric Clapton hired him one time to do these sessions down in his island in the Caribbean. And it was Tony and Eric Clapton, Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick, and the drummer Simon Phillips. And so there's stories I can't share, but there's one story I can share. And Tony Clapton had these boats, and people could take them out and cruise around and stuff during the day, and they'd go out and they'd play at night, they'd jam at night. So Tony went out in one of these boats, and he went out, and all of a sudden he was pretty far out, and he ran out of gas, and he's just floating there in the water, and I don't think he had a radio. And he didn't know what to do. I mean, he was literally drifting out to sea. And all of a sudden, according to him, this boat comes out of nowhere, and he said this stunning woman was piloting the boat. She threw him a line and towed him in, and he was like, I would love to get her number or whatever. And then he turned around to thank her after. After he got docked, he turned around and the boat was gone.
Imagine that, huh?
Yeah, and then he said, I'll never forget the name of the boat. So what was it? He said, Seraphim. I said, are you kidding me? Seraphim? Wow. And I said, you know what that means? And he says, no. And so I opened up the dictionary and I read him the definition of seraphim. And I mean, he literally just, he froze. It was like, oh my God, I got rescued by an angel. I mean, that was an angel that came and literally towed me. So, apparently there was a lot of interesting stuff that was going on around Clapton on this island. So
it's really interesting. Check out Google. It's called Militia One, I think, was a group. I forget the lady's name, but it was Eric Clapton, Carlos Santana, and this woman pretty much got a lot of Hollywood stars and musicians that were pretty much fighting the Illuminati in however they could. And it's pretty interesting because some of the things she reveals in that interview is exactly, as far as them fighting back because they were brought up in that system and made to witness a lot of things that they didn't like.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they were fighting back. It's a pretty interesting interview.
Well, yeah, and then this whole thing with his son Connor, and there's like that whole kind of layer of ritual sacrifice with that. That's really, kind of creepy and very dark. Yeah. So what's next for you? Where is life taking you?
I don't know, man. Really, just taking it one day at a time, and really, I just want to play music. Get my band tightened up more and more, and getting a lineup solidified. Been playing around town. Been talking to the Sci-Fi Channel right now regarding the Lake Erie stuff. I've done a ton of research, so I am all ready to tell my story, and I really thank you for giving me a chance to do that as well. So if who knows what will come out of this? I hope. People need to know. First of all, it's not just happening over Lake Erie. These exact same objects are showing up worldwide.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, do you know who Bigelow Aerospace is?
Yeah.
I was contacted by one of their investigators, and he went on record, said they know that these are not terrestrial lights. He went as far as to say there's a lot of money involved in obtaining this type of technology. It's showing up worldwide right now, and it's all the same phenomenon. And so I think people need to put two and two together and realize that something really big is going on here.
Yeah.
And It would make sense to me if it is the Anunnaki, because there's a lot of, they're intertwined in all of our history and actually all of our religions. These same beings are referenced,
Yeah.
those from heaven that came to earth and blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
so I think I'm looking forward to meeting them. Again,
Okay.
I've never met them in their native state, I want to say,
Right.
So I think that would be interesting.
Well, I'm glad I met you, and you can come on my show anytime you want, Michael. It's a pleasure. And
thank you. It's been a pleasure as well talking to you. You're very intelligent on the subject and great questions.
And you've got a MySpace page, so if people want to hear more of your music,
yeah, MySpace. I got a few songs on there, and on Facebook, just look up Michael Lee Hill. On YouTube, you can go to Frozen Hill, and I got all my videos up there, including some brand new stuff. So check it out and drop me a line and say hello.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Michael. Wish you all the best, and hope to have you again on sometime, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, that wraps up a fascinating 2 hours worth of radio, starting off with Dr. Hildegard Staninger and getting very in-depth around some of the things that are going on in our bodies, and her latest book, Portals to Destiny, and the second hour with Michael Lee Hill. Fantastic guest and interesting guy, and obviously a smoking guitar player, and Eric Clapton's son. So thank you for joining me today. It's Friday, and we've got 2 days worth of more chaos, confusion, excitement, ecstasy, longing, despair, joy, hope, and ultimately life. 48 hours. It all awaits you starting right now. This is Robert Phoenix. You've been listening to a very F.A.R. Friday. And on Monday, I'll be back with the Monday Macchiato. And we'll have, speaking of UFOs, Miss Flying Saucer, Eric O'Hannon will be back on. And we'll talk maybe more about some of Michael's work and a few other sightings. Next Wednesday, I will have Molly Hall from About Astrology, my pal Molly Hall. And she'll be on Wednesday, Navigating the Astrological Matrix. And on Friday, I have another guest who's written a book called Hey Buddy. His name is Gary Johnson. And it's about the life of Buddy Holly. But more than the life, it's about the death of Buddy Holly and what might have happened and why Buddy Holly's death still matters. So he's going to be on the show next Friday, and we'll be talking about Buddy Holly and his untimely demise. So until Monday, take very good care of yourself and use your head to discern what's real, your heart to stay open to what's possible. This is Robert Phoenix. You've been listening to Friday Farcast, and let's go with a little toy matinee and last plane out. Here we go.